Today I'm managing to be in 6 places at once. Can you work out where I am and how I'm doing it? Well, here's a couple of clues. Cue music.
I'm loving angels instead.
Coming up, pots, pits and postage stamps. And the daughter of football legend Stanley Matthews. Plus music from Christina Miles, Stuart Pendred and 6 cherished hymns. Any guesses where I am yet? Well, I'm exploring 6 towns while in 1 city. No, I'm not suddenly Superman. I'm in Stoke-on-Trent. In 1910, the towns of Hanley, Burslem, Longton, Stoke, Tunstall and Fenton came together to form Stoke-on-Trent, still often called the Potteries, after the industry that once defined it. The name Stoke comes from an Old English word, stock, which had several meanings, including place of worship. The first stone church was built here around 1200 years ago. And this could be the remains of a cross from the original Saxon church. This church isn't quite that old. It's the Methodist Central Hall and it stood here in Longton, the most southerly of the 6 towns, since the mid-19th century. Our first hymn also dates back to that time when Robert Walmsley wrote these beautiful words. In the Old Testament, God says to the prophet Jeremiah, "As the clay is in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand." The message is that no matter how messed up our lives have got, God can remold us. Which is more than I'm going to be able to do for this part. At one time, there would have been more than 4,000 brick kilns on the Stoke skyline. About 46 of these remain today, like these ones at the Gladstone Pottery Museum. Beautifully preserved, they give a real sense of what a pottery would have looked like in days gone by. Everything from teapots to toilets were made here. One of the most recognizable names and designs is Wedgwood. Josiah Wedgwood was born here in the town of Burslem. He started his business here too, leasing his first premises in 1759.
Josiah Wedgwood was born literally in the churchyard pottery, which was adjacent to St John's Church in Burslem. But his mother, Mary Stringer, was in fact a Unitarian. And Unitarians were classed at that stage as a dissenting religion from the Church of England, although highly respected. And he was to be extremely interested in the whole of the dissenting movement, those men who were prepared to push out the boundaries of education and to do things for the benefit of mankind. And when he built his new purpose-built Etruria manufactory, he also built housing for his workers. Similarly, he was extremely good about providing health care. The life expectancy of a potter at that time was 34 years, the majority of them dying from what is rather graphically described as potter's rot. It was the inhalation and absorption of lead. And Wesley, when he comes to the area, writes that he's met a young man by the name of Josiah Wedgwood who makes his workmen wash their hands and faces. And he adds that he's small and lame, but his soul is near to God. His greatest example of humanitarian activities was his huge support for the abolition of slavery. He, of course, also manufactured thousands of small medallions showing the manacled kneeling slave and the motto, "Am I not a man and a brother?" And he freely distributed those both here and in America to anybody who would support that cause.
Our next hymn is also associated with the struggle to end slavery. It was written at the height of the American Civil War when the author Julia Ward Howe heard some Unionist soldiers singing "John Brown's body lies a mouldering in the grave." She thought such a great tune deserved more uplifting words. Well, she certainly achieved her aim. over the potteries, there are places like this one in Longton selling a local culinary delicacy, the Staffordshire oat cake. I don't know what it is. I'm going to find out.
It's a savoury pancake that you can put anything that you put on bread. It sort of began with colonial times when the soldiers came back from India and tried to recreate the chapati. It failed, ended up with an oat cake and became a very popular local delicacy.
Our next hymn was written by Emily Huntington Miller with children's voices in mind, but the words are so lovely that people of all ages can enjoy it.